Well, good afternoon, everyone. Meteorologist Michael Wilhite here with Southern Indiana weather. It is about 6:23 in the evening here on the Eastern Time, and we're bringing you today's video update. And we are sponsored today by Metal Magic in Washington. You can give Chad a call at 698-8555. They're across from the Radio Shack there in Washington. Call them for all of your paintless dent repair needs. And folks, you may need it this week. We're even talking about the potential for severe weather, so make sure you write their number down. As we start out, just by the way, if you hear some clicking in the background or somebody sort of running behind me in the camera or whatever else, I have a photographer here from the Herald, and we are glad they are here. The Dubois County Herald is here doing a story on Southern Indiana weather tomorrow, so make sure you check out Tuesday's edition of their paper, and you'll be able to see that. So if you hear clicking going on in the background, that's what's going on. All right, folks, let's take a look at the current setup here. Satellite and radar into motion. You see just a little bit of shower activity out to our west moving in, but not anything major expected for us tonight. I mean, just check out temperatures though. If we can get the zoom to work here, we're sitting here at 72 degrees, and you can't beat that. I forecasted 69. I blew it by 3 degrees, but you know what? If you're going to blow it with sunshine in 72. We deserve it after the horrible winter that we have had. Unfortunately, though, the clear skies are not going to last forever. It looks like it's a very rainy setup for us coming up. So let's take a look at that. Check out future radar here for the next little bit. As we put future radar here into motion, you can see that rain move through, and here we are by about midnight tonight, and you see it's just sort of a narrow band moving through, a little bit behind it. Nothing major. Not everyone may even end up with anything tonight. Only about a 50% chance of some rain tonight. But then after that, it looks like we clear out pretty decent on Tuesday. Some pop-up showers again in the afternoon hours, and then from there, the deluge will continue in on the rest of the week. As you can see, Wednesday we get a little bit more activity, and then as future radar ends here on early Thursday morning, that's whenever the real rain begins to come in. We could look at another product if I had it up, and you would see Thursday looks like it's going to be a pretty significantly rainy day. All right, what's responsible for all this? Let's take a look at our surface map, and we'll get this pulled up here for you. What you have is essentially a pretty strong low pressure system. Well, if I could get my buttons to work, that would be even better. What you have here is pretty much a strong low pressure system out here. You've got a trailing cold front behind that. That's going to move our way overnight. As we put this into motion, you can just watch and you see how that cold front finally moves through during the overnight hours, early morning hours tomorrow morning. That low starts to move off, and then you notice that front just sort of stalls out. Watch how you have this next system moving in. What you have is the front essentially stalls over our area. It'll actually become a warm front, and as this lifts north, it's going to continue to put us into the warmer sector with it. Notice the heavy rain activity that we're going to hear. Here we are by the time we're at overnight hours into Thursday morning. Some pretty decent heavy rain activity, and Thursday afternoon it looks like we may get a break, but then by the time Thursday evening comes in, look at the deluge headed towards us. You also notice this right here, a pretty strong low pressure. We've talked about this in the past, how whenever low pressures take on sort of a negative tilt, that sort of acts as if it's sort of a vacuum cleaner. It's just sort of a sucking motion from the Gulf of Mexico, which allows that Gulf moisture just to get sucked up into our area. But notice the negative tilt on that, and that is one of the things that we look for whenever we think about the potential for severe weather. So let's talk just briefly about severe weather and what our chances are this week. The Storm Prediction Center, of course, has issued a slight risk on Wednesday just out to our west. It doesn't look like it's going to affect us just at this point in time yet. We'll keep an eye on it. Remember, a slight risk starts out in a 15% zone. If we just take a look at the percents, you see they put us into about a 5% risk here. So nothing significant as far as us. That's sort of a marginal risk on Wednesday. The issue will really come on Friday. On Thursday. Now, on the day 4 outlooks, we've talked about this in the past too. Remember that on the day 4 outlooks, they do not issue 15% risks being that far out. They only highlight zones that are at least a 30% risk for severe weather or greater. And you can see a pretty large zone with sort of a bullseye here down in the Arizona area. Now, also remember, anytime the Storm Prediction Center does this, they're going to outline a 15% risk as well. This is an upper end slight risk. They will outline a lower end slight risk. It'll always extend out a little bit past that. If I were going to outline that, if I were them, it would probably be more in this area here, which would include us. I do expect that we'll probably be included in on that risk a little bit later on this week. So we'll see how that goes, but let me show you why as we go ahead, and we'll switch over here to the maps. Some of you have seen these before, and yes, they are a little bit confusing, but we'll take you through them. They're pretty easy to understand once you get the hang of it. But what we're looking at here is, as far as the NAM model can see out, the NAM is usually one of our better models here for understanding the severe weather pattern. We're looking here at about 2 a.m. on Thursday night into Friday morning. Looks like our best time for any severe weather is going to be in that time frame. All right, so notice how strong of a low-level jet we've got here. We're talking 40, even 50 knots here. That's certainly enough to produce some severe weather in the area. So the wind energy, remember, a low-level jet, what we're looking at is wind energy at about 4,000 feet up in the air. It's one of those things where if you take a look at the sky and you see the clouds just look like they're whipping by, and that's what your low-level jet is doing, is responsible for doing that. So a typical thunderstorm will tap high, and during the spring and summertime, will tap 30 and 40,000 feet up into the atmosphere. So it's got very strong wind support even on the low levels of the atmosphere, and that allows it to be able to bring those severe winds down to our level a little bit more. That's one of the things that we look at. It's certainly got support in the mid levels of the atmosphere as well. You can see very good support here. One of the other things that we take a look at is upper level divergence, and essentially what you have on your lines is going like this. You have other lines going like this. And so if you look at your wind directions, they go away from each other right over our area, and that's one of those other hints that we look at when we want to take a look at the potential for severe weather. We've got basically three storm ingredients that we need to look at. The first is that wind energy in the strong winds. We also have to take a look at instability, and we have to have some sort of a forcing mechanism. Well, we know the forcing mechanism. We've got a pretty powerful low pressure along with a cold front that's stalled out over us, so that's taken care of. We've got plenty of wind energy to work with, not a problem. Well, let's take a look at instability. If there's anything, that would be the one that would limit us. We'll take a look at our CAPE. Remember, that stands for convective available potential energy, and you can see we do have a little bit, even during those overnight hours. Not a tremendous amount of energy, but certainly a little bit, and it's enough to be there. So all in all, what can we say at this point? Well, we know that there's a chance for severe weather. We look down here towards Arkansas and around that area and understand that during the day Thursday could end up being a very bad day for them. As far as our severe chances, there will certainly be a little bit less, but we will keep an eye on it. It's certainly I hate to use the pun, but it's up in the air at this point, literally. We will have to see how the system evolves as it goes through, and of course we'll keep you up to date. And that's unfortunately about all we can say at this point, considering we're still about 3 days away from the event. Hopefully over the next couple of days we'll be able to pinpoint this down a little bit better. All right, let's go to southernindianaweather.com and we'll take a look at your 7-day forecast really quick, sponsored here by Ubelor & Sons in Jasper. I'm down to about 49 degrees tonight, folks. Not cold by any means. Again, increasing clouds tonight, a few showers, not as breezy as it has been this afternoon. And not everyone will get wet tonight, but there's certainly that chance for some of us. Then on Tuesday, not a bad day shaping up. About 68 for your high on Tuesday. Partly cloudy. Slight chance of showers and thunder showers later in the day. Doesn't look like it's going to be a washout by any means. Breezy west winds again during the daytime. Look at the low on Tuesday night, only down to 51. These are really getting into springtime temperatures. And then look, here we go into Wednesday and Thursday, even up to 72 by the time you hit Thursday. And again, the way I'm wording it right now is just strong to severe thunderstorms possible Thursday night. We are not in a risk zone yet, just mentioning it that the possibility is there. We will see what the SPC does tomorrow when the day 3 outlook is issued for the first time and the 15% risks are included. And then beyond that, after the cold front finally does move out of our way and we get this system out of our way, take a look at this. By the time Friday and Saturday hits, we're only looking at the upper 50s for high temperatures. So cold front in quotation marks. This is not cold compared to where we have been. We're used to lately seeing those cold fronts drop us down into the 30s, but 57 looks like the lowest high temperature over the next 7 days we're going to see. So we'll take it. It's that time of the year. We deserve it. All right, we'll have another one of these video updates for you tomorrow, and keep it right here to our Facebook page for the latest. With your southernindianaweather.com forecast, I'm meteorologist Michael Wilhite.